Welcome back.
Hey, welcome back, welcome back,
Welcome back.
Yeah, we're not singers, but you get the gist of it. So welcome, everybody. We're back again to
Discuss personal growth and development with Dr. Ellen and
Foxy.
a little Dr. Ellen energy and a whole lot of
Foxy flavor.
yeah.
Go.
All right, so before we get started today, I want to take a minute to give a shout out to Destiny Cloud Sessions for having us here, because without him, we wouldn't be here today, right? But what I want to do is actually give you guys an example or show a brief, what is it called? A brief clip of the work that he's done, so that way you know that you're in good hands with Destiny Cloud Sessions.
So we hope you enjoyed that clip and his amazing work. And if you need anything done in this realm, he's the person to call.
We'll be sure to link everything down in the description below, so that way you know exactly how to contact Destiny Cloud Sessions. Did I say it right? Destiny Cloud Sessions. All right. And also, don't forget, please like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and tell everybody about Dropping an Anchor podcast.
Okay. So now that we finished all the business, how are you today?
Girl, baby.
Oh my God. So last time it was me. I was going through a few things. And you know what? Thank you guys for understanding. We needed that self-care. All is well in my world. Mm-hmm. My grandmother had an amazing service. She went home to glory, and we did right by her. So thank you so much for understanding and allowing me to go get through that moment while talking to you, right?
We love you, Grandma.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, I'm okay, but I do have something like a fire in my
belly.
Spirit right now.
Yeah, because you were angry when we talked earlier. So what's going on?
I'm just like, I don't like dumb shit. And I
pet peeve number one.
I have began to understand that common sense is just not that common.
Not at all.
When I think it should be common sense, the other person, I'm like, hello, like, and It's just so extremely frustrating. And I'm trying to work on how to deal with that better, because I go from 0 to 100 real quick. And I mean, you already know, because I call you to tell you what's going on. But that's what's going on. It's just like some things. I mean, I'm not trying to put nobody out on blast and tell you exactly what happened.
This is not the place nor the time.
However, we all know what dumb shit is, right?
Yeah,
and that
absolutely.
is very irritating. And I think that's what kind of has me on edge today. So, but I'm here. I showed up, and I don't know what we're talking about, but I'm here, and let's get cracking.
Well, just actually, why don't we talk about that?
Okay.
Sounds like you're talking about triggers, right?
Yeah, because dumb shit is definitely a trigger.
Bang.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So then what's happening? Like, what happens when dumb stuff comes into play?
Like, I don't know, because I'm not in the other person's head, but you would think common sense is common. I'm trying to think of like an example without saying what exactly happened.
Watch it.
But it's like, I don't know. If the light is red, go, right?
Oh, I got
Common sense says go. Like, what are you waiting on? I don't understand it. If the light is red, go, right?
Oh, I got
Common sense says go. Like, what are you waiting on? But I think what I should be trying to understand is, how do I deal with it better?
Exactly.
Because my personality is, I shoot straight from the hip. No pun intended.
Right.
Trigger.
Okay.
But
you can't control what's happening out there. So the thing that you do is focus on yourself and how you respond and how you resolve whatever is going on. Because I don't know if you realize it, but triggers are connected to like past trauma and past experiences. So because we're still holding those things, whether consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously, it's somewhere in you, and it's it's because of something that you've experienced in the past.
And I think I can relate to that because in a previous relationship, I was with someone that reacted very quickly, and I think I adapted that. And so when you say that it comes from your past, I think being in that relationship for so long and seeing somebody go from 0 to 100 because the light was left on, now I might not go for that particular reason, but it is quick. I'm real quick.
You've basically taken on or adopted the behavior pattern of somebody
Right.
that
And
was
I don't
before
like it.
you. Right. Does it feel foreign though? Does it feel like that it's not yours, for lack of a better way to explain it? Does it feel like a behavior pattern that you would naturally do? Or does it feel like, you're putting on the left shoe on your right foot?
I mean, honestly, I think that I haven't taken the time like I should to do the work. So right now it's so systematic that it's almost natural for me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And a part of my character and who I am, I think I'm a lot of people say aggressive, but it's not aggressive. It's that I'm passionate about stuff. And so
Is it passionate? Because
that's my story and I'm sticking to it, okay?
Well, okay.
So with that passion or aggression, it comes
aggressive.
Okay, it comes natural. So it is almost like putting on my right shoe and on the right foot, but I don't necessarily like it because what it does to my mental state.
Right.
And it takes me to a place that sometimes it's hard to come from, and then it screws up my whole day.
Right.
Just like you were saying, like
Not
something
to
was
mention
wrong.
somebody else's day.
Sorry, my bad. But that's what happens. So
Okay.
we're here. I'm here. Since you brought it up and you put it on the table, let's
Well,
talk about how to manage that.
I mean, we did say that we are real people having real conversations.
Absolutely.
So whatever is happening in our life and at that moment,
Including this hair that's not doing what I wanted to do right now.
I think it's important to just address it because people can relate to real scenarios. And so I'm sure somebody has been in a situation where they are triggered by something, they don't like it, but it is something that happens consistently, and so they definitely want to find out, how can I respond better to scenarios of this nature? Because guess what? Those scenarios are going to happen.
Right.
So you want to be a better person and have more control over your reaction to what's happening.
So right now I can tell you what I do when something triggers me. I would like to say that the first thing that I would like to say that I do is work out, because that's my error. But that ain't really what I do. I ain't gonna even lie. The first thing that I do is call my mama, because I
Right.
know that at that moment my mama's gonna listen to me. She's not gonna like judge me. She's not gonna be a whole lot of chatty Cathy or whatever. She's gonna listen to me, and that's what I need in that moment,
Right.
because I need to digress that. And once I've got that off my plate, I've already feel a little
better.
And then the second thing I do is call you, because you balance me
Yeah.
out. So now you do listen sometimes,
Well,
but the person that you are, and because of your field, you're automatically like, okay, so what can I do to help? This is what you
Right.
need to do. You need to recognize that this person feels like this. Put yourself in their situation. I mean, and you just talk to me, and
Right.
and it makes me feel a whole
I try
lot
to
better.
be the voice of reason.
That part,
But sometimes,
right?
when stupid is stupid, then
Well, I think you helped me realize, because I always see the glass half empty. And you're like, no, you got to keep pouring into that glass to keep going. And so I go to you because I need to pour over, spill that cup all the way over.
well, you
So,
know, it's really about taking a step back and removing yourself from the emotion that's tied to it, and being a voice of reason. And I'm that for you when you can't be that for yourself.
Right.
And
Thank
so
you.
that's
Thank
really,
you.
okay. So that's really, really important. You're welcome. Really important, because on the flip side of that is anger, is fear, is anxiety, is reactive behaviors,
Yes,
you know, which can be very negative. And even though we recognize this is a trigger, sometimes we don't have control in the moment because we are human. So we need to have those tools in our toolbox and those people who are a part of our tribe and available for us to talk us down sometimes.
Right.
Because it is that split second where we can react that can be negative or life-changing. So that's when people pull the gun.
Yeah.
Because they don't have anywhere else, and they say, you know what? Had I stepped back for 30 seconds, I would not have done that. So it's extremely important that we do have those outlets.
You know what's crazy is I'm sitting here listening to you, and after just complaining about how I was upset about these triggers, I've actually had counseling before, and the therapist actually said when you're going through something and it's like a dispute or a battle and you feel that what they're doing is about to take you there, just say trigger.
Right.
And that lets the other person know, okay, let me back up. Let me back up.
Hopefully
I need to implement that again.
Right. But then that is also something, it's an immediate response. So what it does, and I'm glad you said that, because it resets the nervous system. So when we are going through something that triggers us, we are going through where our body goes into fight or flight mode.
Right.
So we have to figure out, are we going to fight or are we going to flee?
And I'm always ready to fight.
Exactly. So, okay. So when you do something as simple as say the word trigger, it stops that fight or flight, and it resets the nervous system.
It brings you back.
So now you go to your calm place or your relaxing place. So that's a very good example of how to deal with those triggers.
That's crazy. I've had that tool for a very long time, and until just right now,
right?
I ain't thought about using it.
Well, kudos to whoever put that in your toolbox, and now you retrieved it. So now you know you have a tool. Maybe you have been using it, but just
in a different
manner. So now that this has come to the forefront, now you know, oh, I can use that for this as well. So that's amazing.
But that's all a part of the growth that I'm experiencing, because hell, I didn't even have a toolbox for a long time.
Okay.
It's like, I don't have a toolbox at all in the house, like personal or whatever.
In the car. I don't have one at your house.
Right. So having a toolbox and doing the personal work and growth and development.
Right.
Hello, that's why we're here. Man.
Look, now you having epiphanies, all these aha moments, right? Like, oh my God, I've always been here. I've been able to do it. But it helps, like I said, to have a tribe. It helps to be in a certain frame of mind or mindset that you want to be a part of your own journey for growth.
Right.
Because we can stay stagnant and we could just be who we are, or we can try to be a better version of ourselves and make ourselves available and vulnerable enough to say, okay, I'm listening. I might not like what you're saying,
right, but
I'm listening. And maybe I'm not listening right now because I'm in fight or flight, but when I'm having those moments to myself, I now have a voice of reason that I can sit back and I can think about it. And maybe I can't apologize on the spot, but now I can go back and correct, what I did wrong and really be genuine about it.
Right. So the first step is we have to recognize what triggers us.
Absolutely. So let's take it back to the art, right? The art of personal growth and development, A.R.T. Okay. So if we do that and we relate this process to art, the awakened part is recognizing that what is happening is a natural process. It's a trigger. There's a name for it. There's resolution. There's a whole process. So it doesn't have to be foreign. If it is foreign, you can recognize it, identify it, and recognize what it is, right? The hard part about that is because most times triggers are connected to some type of trauma. We don't want to relive that.
Yes.
And so that's where the hard work comes in, and the growth and development. And that's when you need your support system, because how many times have we been triggered about something and we just get angry and we let...
See, that's probably why this makes a whole lot of sense as we're talking it out. when you talk about the past aggressions and we don't want to relive that, that's why I shut down.
Exactly.
That is exactly
so
why
that
I
is
shut down.
that is one of the responses. Instead of dealing with it and talking it through with yourself and whomever is triggering you or whatever situation, we shut down because that's easy. So now what did we do?
You don't have to think
we
about
just
it. You don't have
closed
to talk
it off.
about it. Yeah.
Now another coping mechanism, shutting down, not ever really dealing with it.
Right.
So now the next time we're triggered, we have to start all over until we get to the point where we're able to address it. And that's the art. That's the A, because now we're able to address it. It's not easy. So if anybody is experiencing this process and you know that the minute somebody triggers you, you ready to shoot a gun, you ready to throw a shoe, whatever it is, whatever that response is, you ready to fight, just try to be very intentional and step back if you can.
That's when you need to take you might need to take a self-care moment.
And that's what I'm saying. And take a deep breath and realize, I'm being triggered again.
This is it.
Because that's the first part.
Right.
Once you can identify, I'm in a moment where I'm being triggered, and even if you don't say anything and you just leave. Just leave the room. And then go gather yourself and then come back
Call
to
my
it.
mama.
But that's what I'm saying. Whatever you can do to detach yourself from that volatile or negative situation in that moment would be most helpful. And everybody's triggers and everybody's situations and resolutions are different.
So, okay, I thought of an example because this happened for real. So I work for,
Well, you can't say.
Let me tell you. No, I work for a telecommunications company.
Yes.
And when people find out that I work for that company, all of a sudden when something goes wrong, they want to call me.
Yes.
Okay, just because I work for the company doesn't mean that I know all the ins and outs of it.
Right.
And then it'll be something like, okay, so you thinking that I know, okay, I get that. That's not dumb shit. It is, but it ain't. For me, it is. But that's not what really triggers me. What will trigger me is when you'll be like, oh, okay, so my phone it's not doing anything. And when I press anything, it's not. Have you turned it off? Oh.
Right.
And it's like, that's common sense, right? Those are the kind of things. And then I get mad at myself because I'm like, why did I let that get to me?
Right.
But it's because in my head, I'm like, you should have known that.
Right. Or you think anyway.
I think that they should have known that. But that's one without telling anybody's business.
Right. Okay. I think one for me is when I make time for people to take care of whatever issues they have asked me to do because that's what I do. And then all of a sudden they're not available, but we have set this up and my time is very valuable and very precious, and you're not available and you push me off. And so I have to move on to something else. And then you find it urgent. And now you want to make it urgent for me.
Right. That's not cool.
So those things like that, I'm like, listen, I've tried and I've tried. So I'm to the point where I don't get angry about it, but it is definitely something that I had to work through because at first I did. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is the dumbest. This is I tried and so I would have a reaction. Nobody would see it because I'm not that type of person, but I would have an internal reaction and I would get very frustrated, like, this is the stupidest thing. Did we not have an appointment? You weren't ready for it. And now you want to make, something that's urgent for you my top priority. And I can't do that.
So for me, when I said about a previous relationship and how that person would always snap, it could be the light left on, the toilet seat left up, and then you go from 0 to 100. And I think that's what I adopted in my head, that I go from 0 to 100 as soon as something. So what do you think in your past happened to make that situation trigger you? Do you know what it is?
I just think, so many people depending on me and me always making time for everybody else. And then when I got to the point where I was trying to make time for myself, it would be an invasion of my time, my personal time. So then I never had time for myself. So as I started putting boundaries up, I was like, listen, I'm very intentional about what I'm doing.
Right.
And I think that people not respecting the fact that I am human and have a life as well.
Right.
And so you get clients calling you at 10 o'clock at night when we had an appointment at 1 o'clock. So not respecting the boundaries, not respecting who I am. It was just, to me, an invasion. And like I said, a lack of respect.
Right.
And so I'm not doing that to you. Now you're doing it to me. And so when I started, putting my boundaries up, that made it even more difficult, because now it was like, well, you won't hear from me at all. So
Right.
you know what I mean? So then it was counterproductive. So I had to now go back and figure it out. Okay, so how do I deal with it better? Because I wasn't dealing with it well at all. And now I'm to the point where I was like, okay, so this is a boundary. You cross that boundary, you won't get a call from me. I will then call you on my time when it's convenient.
When I get ready.
Exactly. And so now you have to respect those boundaries. So that was the way of me kind of resolving, how I was feeling, because you can't control someone else's actions. They're going to do what they want to do.
Period.
But you can control how you respond to it. And so that was better for me. But I mean, of course, there are some more detailed and more things that deal with trauma. And we can do a deep dive into that later, or we can,
Yeah, it's about time to start getting some homework.
Okay, exactly. So, but here we just want to address it on the surface to say, triggers are a real thing. If you're going through something, there is a better way to deal with it than to fly off the handle or to go into fight or flight mode. And just so you know, that is normal as well.
Right.
But we have to get out of that mode and be able to bring ourselves back, because fight or flight can be a dangerous situation. We don't want to land there and remain there. So then, if we were doing like learning to cope with that.
Well, let's talk about that. How do we help our listeners, our viewers, our family, if they are triggered, cope with that? Because I know it's easy for me to pick up the phone and call my mama or call you,
but
or
some
what
people
have
don't
you.
have that.
Some people don't have that, or maybe the situation that they're going through, they don't want to discuss with their mama because not
because their mother is the trigger. How about that?
So let's talk about coping mechanisms, or the work that we can do to help manage that.
Okay, so first and foremost, like we already talked about, is recognizing where that trigger is coming from. And then reminding yourself that that's a part of the past and that now you're in a safe space. So whether you have to speak that out, whether you have to write it out, whatever that looks like for you, continue to remind yourself, listen, that was then.
Okay.
This is now. Even though it's triggering, this is now, and I can walk away from it. Maybe not then, but today I can walk away from it, right? And then saying, whatever my response was to that, I forgive myself for responding that way.
Because that's important as well.
Yes, I accept what happened, and now I forgive myself for responding that way, so that I do not respond that way.
I think I'm hungry.
My
My bad. Trigger.
Okay. And then I would say the last step would be to do some type of self-care work that would, when you're in that moment, find a way to bring yourself back to your happy place. Because remember, the trigger is associated with something from before.
Past, right.
So now we have to disconnect from that past situation, bring ourselves back to the present, where hopefully it's a happy place for us. So that's what I would recommend. Those are things you can do by yourself if you don't have a tribe. Hopefully you do have a tribe. At least you have one person.
If not, we could be a tribe.
Exactly. We are here. You can type the question down below. Listen, we will support you in any way that we possibly can, because fortunately we have one another and we just want to help. We know everybody has gone through this situation, and for some it's been really, really bad.
And some people are probably still going through it because they don't have the tools to manage it.
Right. Or every time they get triggered, they make a bad decision. So we want to correct that. We want to drop that anchor that is keeping us stagnant in that bad behavior when we get triggered, right? We want to change that. We want to turn it around into a positive thing, so that even when you do go through a situation like that, your response is different. than it
So
would
I
have
know
been.
that we said that we were going to start doing exercises and start sharing, and we even created a little
Oh, you see
bowl
our
for
anchor?
our
Hey!
exercises. Can you see that?
You see that? You see the anchor bowl?
Do we have exercises that are geared towards triggering? Because we know he's going to talk about that. Is there? I think
Well,
what we put in there, I think it'd be really for
I mean,
just
for the
about
most part,
anything,
yeah.
huh?
For the most part.
Should I pick one? Since I was the
I'm a
one
little
with
nervous, though. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, if this don't help trigger, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
It's gonna help something.
Just go along with it.
All right, this I picked it because it kind of matches. No, it don't.
No, not at all.
It says grounding.
Oh, you got lucky. That's a great one. So, grounding would go with step 4.
Okay.
Which is the self-care to get yourself back to a happy place.
So
right?
can we go get a massage? Like
You can go get a massage.
I mean, like you want to pop? No.
But not today.
Okay.
But in the moment, being able to ground yourself is definitely very, very helpful.
Are you gonna tell me to hug a tree?
We don't have a tree right here, but yes, I would definitely tell you to go pick up some dirt, put your feet in the dirt. Yes,
That's what I think of when you say grounding.
and that's what it is. Really, it's kind of bringing yourself from a negative space into a more positive space. So that's really, if I had to define it in the most layman's term, that's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
So taking yourself from like the fight or flight into the calm.
So what
calm
can we
place.
do for grounding today, right now, for our family, so they can see how it actually works?
Okay, so let me think. Oh, I know something that should work very well for you. You like scents. You
I
like
do.
to smell certain scents, which is, I'm not going to tell you the secret, but we're going to have some scents for you and some stuff that you can use where you don't have to create anything. You just tap in. But you know what? Why don't we can use a candle. Let's see what. Look.
Oh, you're the best thing I found on the internet.
Oh, that's so cute. Can you grab it?
Wait, I gotta get all the way.
Don't fall, please, because.
Wait, do we got insurance? Okay, and there's a lighter. Do I gotta light it?
Yes.
Or can I just smell it?
Well, you can just smell it if you want to.
Okay. Let's see. It's eucalyptus.
Oh, okay. That's your favorite.
It is my favorite. Thank you, Destiny Cloud.
So if you were to light that in the room that you were in, basically that smell would take you back to a place of calm, because so let me ask you this. When you smell eucalyptus, what do you vision?
That is calm, definitely.
Okay.
I envision being at Burke Williams in a jacuzzi.
At the spa?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. That is literally something you can do.
Okay, well, I want to light it. Okay. I need to be there right now.
Oh, yeah, because we can't go
All
to
right.
that.
So do I just smell it?
Yeah, you just literally smell it. It would be the quickest thing. If you have an essential oil that...
We got a lot of essential oils.
Of course we
coming
do.
soon.
But if you do have one on hand, you could do that. If you're diffusing, you could just pour a couple of drops in your diffuser and just let that smell, that scent surround you.
Can I tell you that the scent in my diffuser right now is butt naked? But it smells really good. I'm just saying. What? We said we was going to share.
It can smell like butt
No.
naked. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
It smells really good.
Put it that way. This way, it didn't put me in a calm space when you said
so
butt
we're
naked.
going to stick to eucalyptus.
Okay.
Go.
So you would just take the time to just breathe it in, your deep breaths in, your exhales. Just breathe it in and just envision in your mind.
Eucalyptus.
Envision in your mind your happy space. You're in the spa, you're walking through the spa, you're getting in the jacuzzi, you're having a nice massage, and just envision the way that you feel when you are at the spa. Mm-hmm. And literally your mind will shift in that moment. The mind is a very powerful thing. Mm-hmm. And so your mind will shift from that fight or flight mode.
Can we just keep this lit? I like it. The smell is good.
It'll shift from that, and it'll take you into a moment of calm where you can deal with what is happening in the moment. You can practice that forgiveness and acceptance and say, okay, I was there,
And the
but
crazy
I'm not
part
here now.
is is I think that mentally, or not mentally, because I don't even think about it. So I don't know what's that word when you do something and you're not thinking that that's why you're doing it.
Oh, you're unconsciously doing it.
I'm unconsciously doing that, maybe because I want that calming. Because I always light candles in my house.
Right.
Like there's always a candle or something lit so that I can have that.
And especially if you're lighting something like eucalyptus. Or lavender, because that's what it's designed to do.
Jasmine, I love
jasmine. So
too.
if that's in your, your field, you're automatically walking into an environment that has already, been established as a calm, safe space.
I love it.
So that is definitely something you can do. Another thing that I like to do is speak out positive affirmations. So talk yourself down. I am better than this. I am the best of myself. Whatever it is in that moment, it does not have to make sense to anybody else.
I am Foxy.
But I am not getting ready to kill anybody. I am getting, you know what I mean? Those,
I'm in a safe space.
Yes, but definitely talk yourself back into that safe, positive space. And jokingly would say whatever. Yes. So you do all of that stuff to put yourself back in that moment.
I am starving.
So grounding is definitely a great tool. We will list a lot of other tools in case grounding doesn't fit for you. It's not the best. You're not relating to that. There are some other tools and techniques you can have in your toolbox that will help you in those moments, that will bring you back to center.
Okay, because there's different tools. There's the physical and the mental.
Yes.
So this one will be considered the.
So this is more of a mental.
Okay.
Because you are shifting your mental, so the physical ones are things that you're doing, like are you feeling something, or, so there's a lot of different ones.
You're going to make me hug a tree.
That part. Yes.
Okay.
And just love on the tree. So we're going to clean off your tree in the yard because you might have a lot of hugging to do when you get home. But I mean, with that being said, if we're bringing that back to art, right? Mm-hmm. The A.R., the T, the awaken, the transform. I mean, the awaken, restore, and transform. So we're going to say today. So the awakening would be recognizing the trigger.
Number one.
Right. The restoration would be in forgiving yourself for any behaviors that have happened because you were triggered, and knowing that it's okay. And you are now in a current safe space. And then the transformation would be actually
doing to manage it.
doing the self-care portion of it. So, I mean, I think that, to be impromptu, that was pretty doggone good, right? So hopefully that was helpful. I mean, how do you feel after we've talked?
I feel like I'm ready for Foxy's final thought. Like I got some thoughts here. I feel like we just need to remember that we are in charge of us.
Yes.
And that we can manage our reactions, right?
Exactly.
And so we got to do it.
Right.
We got to do the work.
And you're responsible for it too. So if you misbehave, you also are responsible for that. Mm-hmm. So everything we do when we're talking about growth and development is very intentional. Yeah. So we have to stay aligned with that. Not to say we can't get misaligned. That's easy too, because most of our behaviors, the negative behaviors, are in the area of misalignment. Mm-hmm. So as long as you know how to pull yourself back to center and realign yourself, then you're doing the work.
And we have to remember, part of Foxy's final thought is that we will not allow triggers to control us.
Absolutely.
What about a Dr. Ellen tip?
So I would say that realize that things that happened in the past, although they're a part of your story, they don't define you. They are meant to promote growth. And you cannot be great without growth.
That part.
Right?
Yeah. All right. So now that we have given some tools, some exercises, I think it's time to
drop the anchor. So which one you want to drop today? Because I think I'm going to drop this. She's so pretty.
These was our exercises.
I know, but we can still drop them today.
Okay.
So today we are dropping the anchor of triggers. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you soon.
Hey, wait, don't forget. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, talk about it, and
be about it.
Okay, talk about it. Talk about it and be about it.
Yeah, you have to be about it because you have to implement this stuff. We have to know that it's working. Please share with us your success stories.
Absolutely.
If you're stuck, let us know. We can help.
You can find us on Instagram at dropananchor.podcast.
Oh, dot
you
podcast?
Forgot? Yes. It's dropananchor.podcast. That's my area. You let me say that.
Well, I'm sorry. Yes, it is.
We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.